Terrifying junkie. A TikTok user at St. Honorable shared eerie footage on December 9th, 2024, somewhere in the residential area of Cape Town, South Africa. It showed police officers who were called in by a homeowner who spotted something hiding in the backseat of his car. Officers surrounded the vehicle, where moments later, what was initially thought to be a witch actually turned out to be a female junkie who was under some kind of paranormal influence. It was later arrested and taken away in a police vehicle. Investigators' discovery. Former police detective turned private investigator Ali Eslin, who was searching for a missing relative. The trail of chase led him to an empty guest house in the middle of nowhere in Cairo, Egypt. As he carefully moved through the dark, empty structure, strange noises began to echo, which at first he dismissed as the sound of the heavy rain outside.
Bismillah.
But what he noticed as he exited the house revealed that someone or something was actually there. It showed a silhouette of a darkly shaded figure that was likely watching him while he was inside as well. Ghost driver. Did these Detroit officers encounter a ghost driver? In 2016, they pursued a van speeding through city streets, a chase that lasted nearly an hour without the suspect ever slowing down. But when they finally managed to corner the vehicle, they were left speechless. There was no one in the driver's seat. Officers searched the van thoroughly, inside and out, yet found no sign of anyone who could have been behind the wheel. Even after a full investigation, the baffling mystery remained unsolved. Police at haunted house. A concerned neighbor, sensing the presence of someone inside a residence whose owner was away on vacation, called 911 to report a possible intruder. Police officers were quickly dispatched to investigate. When they arrived at the scene and began searching the property, they initially didn't find anyone on the premises apart from paranormal activity, as one of the doors opened all by itself. Oftentimes, their body cam would glitch or stop recording in between. At one point, as the officers were leaving, they heard heavy footsteps rushing towards them from behind. Terrifying possession. Police responded to what they assumed was a routine case involving a disturbed individual. But what they encountered was far more sinister. In a quiet Polish village, a woman named Kamilka refused to come down from her attic, screaming and growling like something possessed. Locals claimed her behavior shifted drastically after she visited a remote forest shrine. That night, when she completely lost control, many became convinced she was under demonic influence. Even paramedics were shaken. The video cuts off there, but reports say she was restrained, sedated, and taken to a hospital. Whether an exorcism followed remains unclear. Possessed hitchhiker. In Brazil, police stopped a construction-laden pickup truck after spotting a woman in its bed acting in a deeply disturbing manner. At first, they assumed she needed help, but as they approached, shock set in. The woman's movements didn't seem human. She let out guttural noises while her body twitched in unnatural, jerky motions, as if something demonic was controlling her. Officers had encountered many people under the influence before, but none had ever behaved like this. Convinced something far darker was at play, they detained both individuals, though what happened afterward remains unknown. Devilish trespasser. This eerie incident took place in Mexico in 2019. A homeowner whose property was still under construction suspected an intruder and quickly called the police. But when an officer arrived, it became clear this wasn't a typical break-in. Standing inside was a sinister, hooded figure draped in dark clothing. Its face was horrifying, with glowing, piercing eyes. Unsure of what he was facing, The officer didn't enter the house. Instead, he recorded the scene and called for backup. But before help could arrive, the terrifying entity vanished without a trace. Haunted school. Ghost calls 911. In the early hours of August 11, 2018, just before 3:30 a.m., the Pueblo Police Department received an abandoned 911 call from Imperial Memorial Gardens, a funeral home and cemetery on West State Highway 78. When dispatchers called back, the line filled with static and faint, unclear sounds.
Hello?
An officer was sent to investigate, but found the property locked, dark, and empty. No signs of forced entry or movement were discovered. The unexplained call has since raised questions about its source, leaving the eerie incident at the funeral home a mystery. Possessed driver. On November 1st, 2021, in Juab County, Utah, dash cam footage from the Utah Highway Patrol captured a driver heading the wrong way on Interstate 15 near Scipio around 12:40 a.m. Dispatch alerted troopers after receiving reports of a vehicle traveling north in the southbound lanes. One patrol car's dashcam recorded the suspect passing a trooper in the wrong lane, prompting the officer to pursue by entering the correct northbound lanes. By the time the trooper caught up, the suspect had already stopped and was frozen with no visible movement outside the vehicle, almost as if he was taken over by a spirit or some supernatural entity.
Out of the vehicle and they're the south. And your location is it still 184?
Agitated K9. An off-duty police officer, Alejandro Gonzalez, was walking his two dogs, Thanos and Zeus, near Lake Chapala in western Mexico around midnight on September 5th, when they suddenly became agitated and began barking at something unseen. Moments later, he spotted the faint silhouette of a white figure emerging from the darkness, something he hadn't noticed at first. Alejandro was caught up in a struggle between trying to handle both the dogs as well as trying to maintain distance with this unknown ghostly figure. The dogs that usually aren't deterred by the toughest and most vicious criminals were both startled as they stood frozen in fear, forcing him to grab them both in his arms and take them away.
Oh, shit! ¡Quietos! ¡Quédense ahí!
Shadow spawning. A police officer in Mumbai, India, on June 18, 2021, uploaded footage showing a terrifying encounter that he had on a checkpost. It began after hearing strange noises from behind a fenced brick wall that he immediately paid attention to. With no possible access for intruders, he started monitoring the area where what appeared to be a pair of legs materializing out of thin air. The legs stepped back and vanished into the pond, leaving the officer shaken. Disturbed by the fact that there was no torso, arms, or head, only legs, they decided not to patrol that section again for the rest of the night, unsettled by how the figure seemed to deliberately avoid being fully seen. Ghostly shift. A security officer at a garment factory recalled noticing something unusual while reviewing CCTV footage. He noticed one of the sewing machines, which was once used by Ms. Tanaka, a part-timer who had worked there for 20 years and passed away the previous year, appeared to start moving on its own. Since she was such a devoted worker, many among the staff started to spread rumors that she was returning to work in some way. The mannequin she used to dress and joke about was also said to be her favorite, and employees had often found scissors misplaced or sewing machine settings changed without explanation. Because the CCTV system only activates on motion, not everything is recorded. But the officer admitted the incident left everyone uneasy. Still, some believed that if Ms. Tanaka truly was behind the strange occurrences, it wasn't something to be worried about. Taken over by Beast. In Lisbon, Portugal, on November 21st, 2023, a TikTok user at Canal X TV recorded a chilling video of a man who had been arrested and placed in the back of a police vehicle. The man appeared to be possessed by some kind of ancient, malevolent force that seemed to have completely taken over his body and was speaking Portuguese. Now it is unclear what or how things got till this end. But what was clear was that it revealed that the police officer is in sin and cannot reprimand him. Getting possessed. Local police officers in the rural town of Spring City, Utah, shared this small clip on their social media shortly before taking it down. It showed a moment when they held a suspect tied up overnight as part of a long